There are times in your life when something inside you feels different, even if you can't quite explain it. A subtle stirring in your spirit, a quiet shift in the air around you, a feeling that something is unfolding beneath the surface of your everyday life, preparing you for a moment that's been waiting for you long before you ever knew it existed. And if you're here right now, listening to these words, it's because you've reached the threshold of that moment. For so long, you've been walking a path that few people around you could understand. You've carried burdens silently, learned lessons the hard way, and endured storms that left you wondering why your journey seemed heavier than most. You've spent nights questioning your purpose, your direction, and your identity, only to wake with a lingering sense that something larger was guiding you, something unseen, yet undeniably present. That presence, that quiet guidance that has followed you through every chapter, is the very reason you're stepping into a transformation others never get to experience. People have called you sensitive, strong, intuitive, emotional, reserved, or different, but none of them truly understood what you were carrying inside. You weren't meant to blend in. You weren't meant to follow the crowd. You weren't meant to silence your inner voice for the comfort of others. You were created to rise, to awaken, to shift, and to step into a spiritual identity that has been waiting for the right moment to reveal itself. That moment is now. Deep inside you, there's always been a connection you didn't choose, but one that was woven into your existence from the very beginning. A connection to something divine, a connection to God's guidance, a connection that kept you safe in situations where you shouldn't have made it out, a connection that whispered to you even when your world was collapsing around you, a connection that pulled you forward when you didn't have the strength to take a single step. You've always felt it, through the heartbreaks, through the disappointments, through the loneliness you didn't speak about, through the betrayals you quietly healed from. In your darkest nights, that connection wrapped around you like invisible protection. And it never left you, not for a moment. That's why your journey has been different. Chosen ones rarely live easy lives at first. They are shaped through pressure, refined through isolation, strengthened through spiritual fire, and elevated at the exact moment they are finally ready for the next chapter. You've already begun to feel a shift. Certain people no longer feel aligned with your energy. Conversations you used to tolerate now feel draining. Environments that once felt familiar suddenly feel suffocating. And deep inside, you hear a voice saying, "It's time to move forward." This isn't a coincidence. This is spiritual engineering. God removes people long before He blesses you, not out of cruelty, but out of protection. You can't bring every person into your next season. Some people were only meant to be lessons, not lifelong companions. Some environments were meant to teach you discipline, not provide comfort. Some connections were designed to awaken your strength, not stay with you forever. That loneliness you felt, the kind that wrapped itself around you even in crowded rooms, wasn't abandonment. It was preparation. You weren't being left behind. You were being pulled ahead. And during that solitude, you discovered things about yourself that you never would have seen otherwise. You began to hear your intuition more clearly. You began to understand your patterns, your wounds, your gifts. You faced truths that others run from their entire lives. You peeled back the layers that protected you for years, and beneath them, you discovered a version of yourself that is far more powerful, wiser, and spiritually aligned than you ever imagined. Most people go their entire lives without experiencing that level of awakening, but you did, because you were meant to. Everything you released, old habits, old beliefs, toxic connections, outdated identities, created space for the blessings you've been praying for. Many people want change, but they never change themselves. You did. You did the internal work that others avoid. You confronted your shadow. You honored your intuition. You listened to the whisper within. That is why your life is about to shift in ways you never expected. And that shift is closer than you think. When a chosen one reaches a point of alignment, true alignment, the entire world begins to rearrange itself around them. Opportunities emerge out of nowhere. Clarity floods the mind. Connections appear that feel divinely orchestrated. You start to notice signs and synchronicities that feel too perfect to be random. This is not coincidence. This is spiritual timing. But to receive what's coming, you must be fully present. Presence is a key that unlocks divine guidance. God rarely sends messages through thunder and lightning. Instead, he speaks gently through symbols, repeated numbers, a sudden feeling, a conversation that hits your soul, a dream that stays with you, a moment that feels too meaningful to ignore. But if your mind is tangled in worry or trapped in old memories, you'll overlook the messages meant for you. Your job in this season is simple. Stay awake. Awake to your intuition. Awake to your surroundings. Awake to the direction your spirit is pulling you. Because these next few weeks will not be ordinary. You will feel doors opening. You will sense movement in your spirit. You will notice small shifts that lead to bigger ones. And if you remain present, you will catch the invitations disguised as opportunities. But presence alone isn't enough. Your thoughts must match your next chapter. Your mind has more power than you realize. When a chosen one thinks, the spiritual realm listens. Your focus is a magnet, and whatever you give your energy to expands. That is why you cannot afford to dwell in fear, overthink the unknown, or entertain doubt. Doubt is the enemy of destiny. Fear is the anchor that slows your momentum. Anxiety blurs the signpost in your path. But clarity opens doors. Whenever you feel worry rising within you, remind yourself of your own story. Look at what you've already overcome. Look at the storms you survived. Look at the strength you discovered. You are not where you are by accident. You are being guided. You are being supported. You are being lifted, even in moments when you don't feel it. And now, your actions must align with your destiny. Faith is not passive. Faith is movement. Faith is showing God you believe in what you prayed for. If you want a new chapter, you must step toward it. If you want a breakthrough, you must act like someone who expects it. If you want love, you must open your heart in healthy ways. If you want abundance, you must prepare space for it. If you want transformation, you must say yes when opportunities appear, even if they scare you. Growth will always require discomfort. Elevation will always require courage. And blessings will always require readiness. That's why the inner work mattered so much. God was preparing you, clearing you, strengthening you, reshaping you, so that when your moment arrived, you wouldn't sabotage your own blessings. You would rise into them. And as you rise, there's one final virtue that will carry you through. Patience. Not the painful kind that feels like waiting forever, but the confident kind that comes from knowing your steps are ordered. What is meant for you cannot be taken from you. What is written for you cannot pass you by. What is aligned for you will find you, effortlessly, naturally, undeniably. And when it arrives, it will make perfect sense why the timing had to be what it was. Why the wrong doors closed. Why certain people left. Why you were isolated. Why you were refined. Why you had to grow before receiving. Everything will click together in a way that feels almost divine, because it is. And through all of this, gratitude becomes your spiritual accelerator. Gratitude is more than a feeling. It's a frequency, a vibration, a signal that tells the universe you recognize your blessings, even the small ones. And when you acknowledge what you already have, you make room for more. Gratitude shifts your perspective from lack to abundance, and that shift alone changes your entire reality. Time spent appreciating where you are creates a momentum that pulls you toward where you're meant to be. As you move forward, remember this truth deeply. You are not who you used to be. The old you has dissolved. The fearful you has faded. The uncertain you has been replaced. You've shed layers that were never truly yours. You've left behind identities that limited you. You've walked through inner transformations that only chosen ones experience. You've unlocked a version of yourself that is finally ready to receive what you've been sensing, praying for, and dreaming of for years. This transformation is not a coincidence. It is a calling. It is a confirmation. It is a divine response to your evolution. The next chapter will reveal the meaning behind your waiting. It will show you why the journey had to unfold the way it did. It will reveal blessings so aligned, so purposeful, so intentional, that you'll look back and realize nothing was random. You are stepping into clarity. You are stepping into alignment. You are stepping into destiny. So move forward with confidence. Stand tall in who you become. Trust the guidance that has carried you this far, and open your heart to the blessings already making their way towards you. Your transformation is not coming, it has begun, and you are more than ready to receive it. Thank you for being here. If this spoke to your spirit, stay connected and continue traveling deeper into your awakening. The chapters ahead are brighter than you can imagine, and everything your soul has been waiting for is already on its way.